This is a quick overview of ADLD Center's recent accomplishments as well as fundraising need and spend plan for 2025. In 2024, we're excited to share that we made substantial progress towards finding a cure. Grants that we previously funded uncovered new findings about how the disease works, and among many additional enablements, created an opportunity to do a one-patient drug trial for a novel drug called an ASO, which is a major achievement, especially in a relatively short amount of time. Completing this one-patient trial and to prepare for a broader trial, we also kicked off a natural history study. This will have two phases, a retrospective phase and a prospective phase. A big part of the purpose of this study is to understand how the disease manifests in as many patients as possible, so that when we approach regulators such as the FDA in the future for permission to begin a broad clinical trial, we won't have to assign some patients to a control group. Instead, the natural history study itself can be treated as the placebo or control group, and all participants will ideally be able to get the drug. We're fortunate to have large institutional partners who have successfully done natural history studies for other patient advocacy groups in the past, so we're excited to be kicking this off with a world-class team. Outside of that, we worked with a contract research organization that specializes in drug repurposing studies to find out if any FDA-approved drugs could be used off-label to treat ADLD. This effort produced a list of 5 interesting candidate drugs, which we're now working with physicians to review and make dosing decisions on. This is another major achievement as it could produce an effective, immediate-term solution for patients. While it likely won't be a cure, depending on the mechanism of the drug, it could help slow down disease progression, which would be very exciting. All in all, this represents a lot of progress in a short time. Importantly, we're also able to accomplish all of this very efficiently with a budget of only $150,000. The bulk of that spend went towards teeing up the natural history study, followed by the one-patient drug trial, drug repurposing, and program management. Based on the success of our efforts over the past year, we're now strategically positioned to pursue a few key milestones in the year ahead. Now that we know more about how the disease works based on the grants that we funded, we can begin studies to discover biomarkers that will tell us if a treatment is working and how the severity of ADLD is changing in patients over time. Biomarkers are quantifiable markers of disease progression, such as changes in levels of a specific protein, changes in MRI findings, etc. We can also initiate a gene-targeted therapy proof of concept. Gene-targeted therapies are the gold standard for treating diseases of single gene mutations, which is what ADLD is. So this is a particularly exciting milestone for us to reach. Gene-targeted therapies have successfully cured patients with other diseases, so there's already evidence that they hold the potential to serve as a one-shot permanent cure, and we're optimistic about what their future holds for ADLD. Lastly, through additional testing in families with slightly different gene mutations, we can understand how the course of the disease varies across different families, men and women, etc. This is critical for matchmaking specific treatments with specific patients with slightly different versions of the gene mutation that causes ADLD. As a part of the natural history study, this process begins with enrolling patients and collecting their medical records. Patients will then be followed for 2 years or longer, depending on FDA requirements. And after that, we aim to have what we need to ensure that when we start a clinical trial, all patients participating in the trial will get the drug and no patient will get a placebo. This is critical given how debilitating ADLD is and how quickly patients deteriorate. This brings me to our ask for 2025. We need your help to raise $285,000 to take us through the next year and make substantial progress towards getting to a cure. Biomarker discovery will cost approximately $40,000. The gene-targeted therapy proof of concept will cost approximately $75,000. Continuation of the natural history study will cost approximately $150,000. And program management will cost approximately $20,000. Together, these efforts will set us up to know whether a new treatment that comes to market is indeed working in patients, what the natural progression of the disease is in a variety of patient families, and potentially enable a brand new drug compound to be developed specifically for ADLD patients. ADLD patients are sadly deteriorating every day and are in great need of all of our combined help to stop ADLD in its tracks. With that in mind, donations can easily be made through ADLD.center. For information, any questions, please contact me at bishan@adld.center. Thank you for your consideration and generosity.